Alrighty. Let's get this bit loaded up. Oh no. Boom. I don't even know how I did that. Dude, how are you able to message in the chat that fast? It doesn't make any sense. I think it should be working. Should be this one. Yeah. Oh my god, get out of the way. Bro, are you joking me, dude? I beat the last boss, the chameleon. Oh my controller's not plugged in. Oh, hold on, we're losing frames. What's going on here? Maybe I gotta reconnect, disconnect and reconnect my controller. No, that didn't work. Okay, hold on. Well, me connecting the controller didn't work. How's that? Did that work? I guess we'll see in a second when I really decides. Nope. Alright, I gotta restart the game then. What a shame. What a shame. What a massive fucking... Ah! Oh, I need chapstick. Car mix, whatever. Whatever. I need all of it. Put it on my lip. My lip hurts. Just because it's dried out. Like, how do you get split down the middle? Okay, so that's plugged in. This is plugged in. Why wasn't it letting me just play? We'll get to the bottom of this. Don't you worry. Man, you want to hear something cool? Well, I'll tell something crazy, actually. Alright, so the other night, I was trying to play Kingdom Hearts. And, you know, I had my headset on, and I was just, like, doing whatever it was. I think the stream is on my channel somewhere, if you want to look for it. But, I heard someone screaming, and I was like, it's probably nothing. Because I do have, like, drunk people just walk around my complex and, like, just be loud for no reason, and then they'll go away. But this screaming was unfortunately very consistent. And so oh hell yeah. Hold on. I'll finish this story. Otherwise I'll forget something. So I hear this screaming out the window because the room I'm in has like a screen door and I can like just hear whatever's going on outside. Anyway, this lady's screaming and I'm like, us, I have a moral duty to at the very least make sure everyone's okay. So I look out the window and I see a man holding a lady and another lady stepping away slowly, but like not actively trying to de-aggro, if that makes sense. And then oh wait, hold on, I should record this so I can upload this. Hold up. Nope, no, wrong one. Alright, so for all the stream dudes, of which there are none. Okay, so I am playing Kingdom Hearts. I have my headset on. And then I hear a lady screaming. And I'm like, whatever, you know, like drunk people scream when they walk past my apartment. It's not that uncommon. And then it continues, so then I'm like, okay, maybe I should go check it out. So I go check it out and I see a big man, like taller than me, probably like 250, was holding a lady back, and then there was a lady slowly walking away. And at this point I was like, I feel like I have a moral obligation to go down there and make sure no one is getting hurt or anything else that might lie in that category. So, you know, I go put my shoe, well, it was my slides. I go put my slides on and I walk down there and I'm like, yo, is everyone okay? And as I'm talking to them, or I guess, okay, so I get down there and I talk to the lady that was stepping away. We'll call her cousin. So this cousin lady is like, you gotta just get in the Uber, blah blah blah. Drunk lady is like, I am not gonna get in the Uber. Uber driver, I didn't know this until later, but the Uber driver was the one holding her, and he was like, sister. Oh, they were all African, but by the way, but the Uber driver holding the drunk lady was like, sister, we gotta go, like, why are you doing this? Drunk lady then somehow breaks out of the Uber driver's hands, runs at the cousin, and at this point I'm like, oh, things are not okay. I should probably call the cops, but also I should also make sure that they're separated before we call the cops. So I intervene and I help the Uber driver kind of separate the two girls. This takes, I don't know, like a couple of minutes. The cousin girl walks away, and then it's just me, the Uber driver, and the drunk lady. And we're like, you gotta settle down. You're gonna get in this Uber and he's gonna take you home. But she's like hooting and hollering, like all the nines, hooting, hollering, talking about some, I am not getting in that Uber. I am going home, but I'm not going in that Uber. I hate this bitch. I can't believe this bitch chose her friend over her own family or something like that. And she's like spazzing the fuck out. And then, while me and the Uber driver are trying to calm this lady, this very heavily intoxicated lady down, she... Okay, so while we're trying to calm this lady down, the lady's sister drives up. Sorry, it's been a few days, so my memory might not be the best, but I'm pretty sure this is how it went down. So, as we're trying to calm this lady down, the intoxicated lady's sister pulls up, and she's like, "Get your in the car. Get your in the car right now." And she's like, and then they start getting into like a verbal argument. And then I was kind of just watching, but I turned around to talk to the Uber driver about like, "Are you okay? Like, did anything bad happen to you?" He's like, "No," but when we as things are developing, we realize that the very... Oh, my charger got unplugged. That's not good. What is it? Where is it? There it is. Sorry, I was plugging in my charger. But as we're talking to this lady, or as I'm talking to the Uber driver, he's like, "No, like, I'm good." So we're talking, trying to get like a grasp. Excuse me. I'm trying to get a grasp of the situation, and while this is happening, these ladies are fighting, and at some point, the intoxicated sister ends up on the ground. So the sober sister is like, "Hey, can you help me get her in the car so I can just drive her home?" So me and the Uber driver are like, whatever. So I grab her arms or something like that, and he grabs her legs. And we're loading into the car, and we do it successfully the first time. Everything's all good. The doors get locked. Well, the sister's like, "Let me turn the child lock on," and she goes throughout the car and turns the child lock on for like all the back seat doors, I guess, because she's in like a Kia Soul kind of type car. I don't remember the exact model or make of the car, but she goes through, sets all the child locks on, and then she's like, "Thank you so much, blah 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 blah." The Uber driver sneaks away and like drives off or something. And then, so I'm just talking to the sober sister. Like, if I have a visual for it, I'll put it on the screen, I guess. But so I'm talking to the sister, and then out of the peripherals, I see like someone like doing some crazy shit. And then it takes me like a split second, but it's like when you drop a cup of water and... Hold on. I feel like this game is too loud. So anyway, I see out of my peripheral this person like spazzing. So like I look over and I realize it's the drunk sister trying to get in the driver's seat. And by the time I make it around to like the driver's door, she's like trying to like take off with the car. At which point I'm like pressing the button and then moving away and being like, "Let me help you with your shirt." At the time I was just like, "Let me just press this button, but also your boobs are hanging out, so let me help you out with your shirt." And so that's happening for like felt like forever, to be honest. Oh, I should probably record this on a different... Okay. I'm going to start over. Okay, so I'm playing Kingdom Hearts. Oh, wait. How do I just record audio? Anyway, so I am, Can I just turn all these off? And then it'll just... Okay, so I am playing Kingdom Hearts. And I'm hearing, like, yelling. Right? And I'm like, I don't know. Drunk people walk through these apartment complexes, like, all the time. So I just ignore it for, like, a couple of minutes or so. And then not only does it get louder, not only does it get louder, but also um it becomes like a more often occasion. So then I go to the window and I take a peek. And I see a grown man holding a woman and a separate woman trying to, like, step away, if that makes sense. Okay. So at this point, I feel like I have a moral obligation to go out there and make sure that, you know, everything's okay. No one's gonna, I don't know, die or something. So I go out there and I'm asking, like, what is going on? And I mean, it's pretty difficult because, as I said earlier, the grown man is holding the woman, like, pretty tightly. And the other woman is just like, and like the two ladies are like yelling at each other. And, so at this point, me and the Uber driver are telling the intoxicated lady to, me and the Uber driver are telling the intoxicated lady to settle down, even just a little bit, because she was going bonanza. And during this time, the other lady that the drunk lady was fighting had gone home. So it was just me, the Uber driver, and the drunk lady. Oh, crazy combination, by the way. So we're trying to get her to calm down. We are trying to get her to calm down. And during this time, the drunk lady's sister shows up. She drives back up in her Kia Soul or whatever the car was. It looked like a Kia Soul. I don't remember, to be honest. And she gets out of the car and she tells her sister directly, get in the car. Just like that. Get in the car. And the intoxicated lady said, no, I am not getting in no Uber. So then the sober sister starts, like, forcing her to get in the Kia Soul car, if that makes sense. And as she's doing that, I'm talking to the Uber driver and I'm like, like, did anything happen on your end? we called someone called the cops. And okay, I forgot to mention, some of our neighbors came out and they were saying they were calling the cops. The Uber driver said he had called the cops, so I was just making sure that, like, we had all of our bases covered. So I was talking to the Uber driver, and I was asking, "Did you get assaulted or anything like that?" He didn't really say anything about the potential assault that I witnessed, but I didn't want to press him on that. So anyway, um, as we're talking, the two sisters get in like a fist fight. They're like pulling hair. They're like scratching each other, like the whole the whole nines, the whole nines. And let me think. So while they're fighting, me and the Uber driver are like, well, we should probably go help. We should probably go help. We should probably go help one of them out. And the Uber driver decides, like, nah, I'm just going to leave, which is totally fair. But I wish he would have stayed with me so we could provide a full report to the police. But anyway, I go over there and I help talk both of them down. And at some point, I end up helping the intoxicated lady into the car. And then while I'm doing that, the sister that came in that was sober, she hit the child lock on the doors for a car on both sides. Because, oh, I forgot to mention, but we put her in the back seat because obviously a front seat thing with her would not be good. So she puts the child locks on, and then and then she comes out to the back of the car, because that's where I was at, because I got the lady in the car, the drunk lady in the car, and at this point, I don't really care anymore because I want to go to sleep. But I'm talking to this lady. Oh, I forgot to mention. Some of the neighbors came out and they were saying like we're gonna call the police. So I was talking to this lady and being like, "Hey, is there anything I need to know to tell the police in case, just in case generally?" So, I'm talking to this sister that came in, and she was sober, but she was like really mad, and so we're like kind of exchanging information. Basically, what she told me was she had come to these apartments with her sister for a friend's like gathering or party or something. I don't really remember, but that's why they were there. And and basically the intoxicated sister was just too intoxicated to drive home. And so let me think. She was too intoxicated to drive home. Intoxicated sister was too drunk to drive home. Oh, yeah. And then, so the sober sister was like, fuck it, I'm leaving you. You're too drunk and you're pissing me off, I guess. I don't really know what happened there, but I'm assuming like the intoxicated sister and like the friend got into it, or maybe she was like a cousin. I don't really remember, but they got into it, And then so the sober sister was like, I'm just leaving because I'm not dealing with this, which is fair enough. But while we're talking about this, like behind the car, like if that makes sense, so like or like by the the turn signals on the back of a car, um, I see in my peripheral a a whole lot of movement. So I look over and I realize that the intoxicated sister is trying to get into the driver's seat, which I mean, we can have that. You can barely stand up straight and you're trying to operate a vehicle? No, ma'am. So I like completely shut down the conversation with this sober young lady and I run across to go to the driver's side door, like the front driver's side door, and I essentially just well, let me explain. It's one of those push to start cars. So basically as I run up to um the driver's door, it's already open because the drunk girl didn't know what she was doing. And I reach across and I hit the power off and power on button. You know, like the one that you would press the brakes to turn on and then you just have to hit it to turn it off. I just kept hitting that off every time to try to turn it on. And we just did that for like for me it felt like it was forever, but it was probably just like a solid 20 or 30 seconds. Um well, maybe not even that. It was probably closer to like 10 to 20 seconds because I did it a few times. I kept turning the car off and she kept trying to turn it back on and I kept turning her car off, and at the same time I was trying to help her with her shirt to try to keep her distracted because at this point her breasts had fallen out of the dress she was wearing. So I was like, "Let me help you with your dress." And as she was like helping me help her, I was hitting the power off button. So this happened for I don't know, maybe 15 to 30 seconds, somewhere around there. I don't remember. And then after that like benchmark amount of time, you really don't. I want to say it was like 30 seconds of me just going back and forth and of helping her lift her dress up and then pressing the button to turn the car off. It was probably like 30 seconds. And then the older sister ran around the car and then like grabbed the intoxicated sister, the younger sister, out. And um well, actually, I do gotta add one more point. While one time I was like really slow on turning the car off, that she was able to put it, well, she tried to put it in like reverse, but I put my hand on the, what do you call it? Like a Prindle bar? That's not right. But like you know what I'm talking about. It's like the thing that's built like, it looks like a big P, like a capitalized P. But I had to put my hand on that and like hold it in place while I hit the power button. And then I was like, "But look, like your breasts are out, so let me help you put those away." She didn't help me do either. But anyway, the older sister like ran around and like dragged her out of the car. By this point, the Uber driver had just like disappeared, and I have no idea where he went. But I wish he would have stayed because according to some of our neighbors, he was saying that he had footage of like all of this, but unfortunately he had driven away at this point. So it's like me and like the sober sister, and we're like, well, I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? And like the sober sister's like beating on her younger sister. So I step in and I say, whoa, look, like relax. I know she's intoxicated, but you shouldn't be like hitting her like this. And so um she ends up stopping, and like the she what I mean by she is the older sober sister ends up stopping, and the younger intoxicated sister ends up just on the ground, just kind of laying there. And she's done fighting at this point. So the older sister decides, hey, just help me put her in the car. At which point, I put my hands like kind of around her hips, but like one arm. So I put like, how do I describe this? It's kind of like a vine wrap where like I put one arm around her waist and one arm around her arm, so I can like lift her up into the car because she wasn't that far away. And at this point, this drunk lady, I really want to call her a bad word, but this drunk lady starts like biting my hand. And like I'm like, "Hey, please stop. Please, can you stop? Can you please stop? Stop." And so I'm saying these things, and she's just like not responsive. So unfortunately, I end up I you got to remember, this lady is like super drunk, and like her breasts were out, and she's biting my hand really hard. So I grab her nipple and I start twisting. And I'm like twisting this, and I'm like, stop and I'll stop. Stop and I'll stop. And then I ended up stopping before she did. Oh my god. I wish I would have kept going. Like, why did I stop? So she's like biting my, like the back. I don't know how to describe this, but it's like, let's put your, put your right pointer finger on your left pinky, slide down to the like the bottom knuckle, and like that's where she bit me. And like she was biting hard, and she held it for like, I don't know, like 10 seconds before I realized that she wasn't gonna let go. So I started like grabbing her nipple and like twisting it. Again, her breasts were already out. I'm not, I mean, she assaulted me first, so therefore maybe it's okay. But I grabbed her nipple and I twist. I nipple twist. And she was not letting go. And then her sister came in from the other door, because at this point I had already put her in the car. I don't know. I don't know why she got my hand, but she got my hand. But the other sister comes out the other door and like yanks on her hair and like gets her to let go of my hand. What a godsend. Because I still have scabs to this day, and it's been like at least half a week. These scabs are crazy. But we get her in the car, and she's like somewhat settled down. And then let me think. Some of our neighbors have come out at this point, and they're like, "We're calling the cops." And I love love is a strong word. I have a strong appreciation for our police, but sometimes they get it wrong. And I didn't want to be on the wrong side of it today, so I was like, please, just get it wrong this one time. But anyway, um, I'm talking to our neighbors, and they're like, Yeah, we called the cops, and they'll be here anytime soon. And I'm like, well, I say, okay, I'll be right back because I just got bit pretty bad, and I need to go disinfect it because I don't know what diseases this lady might carry. No offense to her or where she comes from. There's just something I do. So I run upstairs and I grab rubbing alcohol like 90% and I just like rub it all over my wound because this lady did break my skin and I started bleeding. So I just wanted to make sure that like I wanted to take all the precautionary steps before you know, I don't know, I caught a disease or something. So at this point I let me think. I So I run upstairs, I disinfect, right? I run back downstairs. By the time I'm back downstairs, the intoxicated lady and her sister are gone. The Uber left a while ago. I believe I mentioned that already. But the police are here and we have even more neighbors that okay, by the time I get downstairs, the two sisters are gone. The police are here and we have more neighbors from across the road come out. So I go down there and I say, well, I talk to one of our neighbors and I ask, what is going on right now? And she basically just tells me that um they've received a few calls related to this altercation and they just wanted to make sure that everyone was okay. That's about what I got from my first neighbor. And so I stand there and they basically just ask us basic questions like, is anyone hurt? Is anyone in the what would you call it? Like, is anyone in danger of getting hurt? Is Are the two sisters going to be okay? Whatever. And so I tell them my story. Everyone else tells them their story. And they kind of decide to like not follow up on it, but I was nervous about the bite, so I peeled one of them away from the rest of the squad that was there. It was like 3 police officers. And I basically just asked should my bite turn into anything worse, would I be able to pursue charges? At which point he said, which was gnarly, but at the same time, I understand. He said he didn't really know. So he went to ask his sergeant. His sergeant, him and his sergeant, like, canoodled about it for like a few minutes. The officer came back and said, you have about 2 months to file a report, but after that, we can't really help you. And I said, well, that's fine because, I mean, this is like off the record, but like, if we really think about it, 2 months is more than enough to tell if like a wound is getting really bad. So I say, okay, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, I have a nephew and a niece. And they say, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I say, yeah. Yeah, do you still, damn, do you still have the stickers that, you give to children? And he goes, yeah, I'm honestly glad, dang, I am honestly glad you asked because I just have these sitting around. And so he ends up giving us, well, I say us, but it's like me and like one of our neighbors, who by the way was like super geek the whole time. I can't believe he came out. But he gave me and our neighbor like stickers to give out. But it was pretty awesome of him. But yeah, that was my pretty crazy story. I'm trying to think of anything else crazy that happened that night that I haven't mentioned. Oh, I think I did mention the nipple twist actually. Basically, I was helping this girl up into the car and she started biting me, so I hit her with a nipple twist.